Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. On Twitter, I asked, give me your questions, thoughts, and anything you have to say about PSG versus FC Barcelona game. I'll make a video reacting to it. So we have 69 comments we're set to react to, read out for the upcoming Paris Saint-Germain versus FC Barcelona game. I hope Zabarny can perform. He's been really good so far, so hopefully he can step up in the big games. Zabarny, obviously, we bought him for a lot of money. It took us like 2 months to sign him. And, we didn't sign him for Lorient. We didn't sign him for Nantes. We signed him for these games. We signed him to take over the mantle of Marquinhos. And what a better time than now that Marquinhos is injured. What a better time for Zabarny to prove himself that he's Paris Saint-Germain quality and Paris Saint-Germain standard. Pairing up next to William Pacho, probably the best center back in the world. Like, he's so underrated. It's crazy. But Zabarny, it's going to be a big game, big test for him. And if he can have a good game in this game, well, already a top 10 center back in the world. If PSG lose, do they deserve to be ridiculed? Or is there a pause due to the medical situation of the team? And why ask the same questions for Barca if they lose? I don't think any Barca or PSG should be ridiculed after potentially losing this game. These are the two best teams in the world. When the two best teams in the world face off, let's say this game faces off 100 times. Barca will win some games, PSG will win some games, maybe some end in a draw and so on. So I think when the best face the best, it will go down to small margins, individual ability. You can't really, have that big of a gap. But if Barcelona beats Paris Saint-Germain like 4-1, or Paris Saint-Germain beats Barca like 4-1, then you can understand the ridiculement, because both teams are missing players. None of them can really make the injury excuse. Paris Saint-Germain missing Dembele, their best Champions League player of last season. Barca missing Rafinha, their best Champions League player of last season. PSG missing Marquinhos, Barca missing Juan Garcia, PSG missing Doué, and Barca maybe missing Balde, Gavi, Fermin or something. But none of them were going to be starters apart from Balde. So I don't think any of the teams should be ridiculed as long as it's not a complete blowout. And second of all, it's a group stage game. For example, yes, I know, you know what? Barca, for example, they humiliated Bayern last season, and Bayern deserved to get ridiculed, and Barca deserved to be propped. So, but obviously, there were no injuries going into that game and so on, and the history between Bayern. And so I think only in terms of a blowout can any of the two teams be ridiculed. Do you think Nuno will be able to pocket Yamal, and how do you think it will affect the game if he does or does not? Pocket? I don't think so. Even when I look back at that Nations League final, Nuno Mendes had a 10 out of 10 performance. Nothing to say about it. But when I looked at Yamal, he looked a bit different. I saw Barca fans trying to make the excuse that 3 Spain players were marking him all the time. And if you watch the game, that was not the reality. The reality was, I don't know, like Yamal woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something had happened that day. He just didn't look how Lamine Yamal always looks. Yes, he was smiling during the national anthem, but then when the game started, he just didn't look like Yamal. So I'm very happy about that performance from Nuno, doing that to Yamal and everything. But I know that Yamal will be better this game, and I don't think he will be like that this game. He's obviously still coming back from an injury, so I don't think he will be 100% best Yamal. He won't even play the full 90 minutes this game. But I don't think Nuno will pocket Yamal. I don't think that will be the discussion after the game. I think Nuno will win some duels, Yamal will win some duels, and that's where it comes to it. How will it affect the game or not? I think obviously Nuno Mendes will do a great job on Lamine Yamal, but there will be occasions when Lamine Yamal does a great job on Nuno, and that's where William Pacho, Fabio Ruiz, João Neves, all the players surrounding that area will need to be helped. How will it affect? The thing with Lamine Yamal is we've seen multiple times, even if he cooks a defender, sometimes he doesn't have the right decision making for the pass, for the shot to make. So even if he goes past him a couple of times, I'm not sure it will always lead to insane danger. But Yamal is obviously the danger man for Barca, including Rashford on both wings. And we'll have to keep an eye out on Yamal. A player most worried about from FC Barcelona, I think it has to be their wing combo. You could say Pedri. The thing with Pedri is he's a weaker midfield alongside him once he'll be facing an insane midfield from Paris Saint-Germain. I remember what Fabio Ruiz did to Pedri in that second leg at the Montjuic. Just because of that Araujo red card, Barca fans were basically just hiding everything else that happened. That Pedri had a generational stinker, Ding Dong, Ter Stegen, Kubarsi, Kunde. That's all calm for them. Like, Araujo got a red card. It's okay then to be absolutely ass. So I think Pedri is less because of how dominant our midfield is. But it's the wingers of FC Barcelona. Rashford is going to be a little bit like Rafinha, running in behind, going to be the goal scorer. Yamal is going to be the creator, the playmaker, the player with the most touches, the player that Barca are looking for to create danger and threat in this game. So it got to be Rashford and Yamal. We know Rashford, he loves to play PSG as well. So I'm going to go Rashford and Yamal for the worried about. What do you exactly expect from this game? I expect just football. Honestly, if we're looking at this from a neutral perspective, because that's how this question feels, just football. You know, sometimes you go and watch these fucking filthy Premier League games and you go away and was like, did I just watch football? Or did I watch the Premier League? Because Premier League does not play football anymore. Honestly, I just want to see football. I want to see great individual ability from both teams. I want to see Khvicha cooking, Yamal cooking. I want to see Rashford making runs, Hakimi making runs, Barcola making runs. I want to see Pedri and Vitinha trying to dictate that midfield. Because it's not just the two best teams in the world. It's also the two best teams with the best individual talent in the world. Obviously, we're still missing some individual talent, but that's what I want from this game. I want to see football played at its absolute best poetry. But from a Paris Saint-Germain standpoint, I expect a victory. And I expect a great performance from Paris Saint-Germain, especially after that Marseille defeat. But we've seen Paris Saint-Germain go away in big Champions League games and have a really great game. That's what I'm expecting. I want us to be defensively conservative. Maximum 1 goal conceded. We should even aim for a clean sheet. And that's not being disrespectful to Barca. You know, they have probably the second best attack in the world after Paris Saint-Germain. But we also have one of the best defenses in the world, even though that goes very underrated, how great our defense is. Like, when we want to defend, when we want to keep a clean sheet, it's very hard for the opposition to score. Will João start ahead? João Neves start versus Barcelona? Yes, João Neves should be starting the game versus Barcelona. Your thoughts on Juan Garcia? Top keeper. First of all, he's a G. If you know what the word G means, not the Andrew Tate top G that gay fugaziness. What I mean by G, just a man who has balls. Maybe Ter Stegen was that when he was younger. Now he's old, injury prone and everything, but he's not. You know, when the ball comes straight at him, you see his face, he's scared. Juan Garcia, he's headbutting the ball. He's jumping in with his hand. He's running out. He's making top saves. He's not scared. He wants a challenge. So that's about him as a person. Second of all, as a keeper, great with the ball and great shot stopper. Basically exactly what you want to see in a goalkeeper. He's been saving FC Barcelona so many times this season. And he will be a little bit of a miss for Barca in this game. It all depends on Chesney's quality, because we saw Chesney last season. He was one of the best goalkeepers in the Champions League last season. But obviously he hasn't played this season. It's a little bit different. So we'll see how big the gap is. But that's my thoughts on Juan Garcia. Don't give space for Rashford. I mean, the thing with Paris Saint-Germain is, yes, we respect opposition, but we're not scared of opposition. We're not Arsenal who are going to sit back, or we're not Inter Milan that's going to surround Yamal with 4 players. We're going to play our game. And if the worst thing happens, it happens. But we're going to play our football. Sometimes Rashford will have space, but we will just be confident that Hakimi, who's 1v1, or if it's Ilya Zabarny, will do the great job versus him. But obviously, the main threat from Barcelona in this game will be Rashford off that left and Yamal off that right. And that's something definitely Paris Saint-Germain are focusing to intercept in this upcoming game. With PSG's weakness, obviously Paris Saint-Germain, it's very hard finding weaknesses. The main weakness, obviously, going into this game is missing Ousmane Dembélé. You know, Desiree Doué, we can replace him. Marquinhos, we can replace him. But Ousmane Dembélé, I mean, Sinimayulu is going to play instead of him. And I love Sinimayulu, but we're talking about the best player in the world. So I think missing Dembélé is going to be obviously a weakness. Second of all, definitely Hakimi pushing up. That's always something I'm looking at, those left-hand spaces. We saw that versus Arsenal as well. So if Rashford can make those runs, you know, if Rafinha was there, that would have been very dangerous. So when Hakimi pushes up, that left-hand side can be, our right side can be a little bit open, and then it will be like Rashford versus Zabarny, which should be favorable for Rashford. I would maybe say, I don't want to put him on the bus, but I would maybe say Lucas Chevalier, 2 big mistakes in the two only big games he's played this season, the UEFA Super Cup final versus Spurs and the Le Classique versus Marseille. But hopefully he's going to be strong in this game. I don't know what your prediction is for the game, but do you think PSG or Barca will dominate the game in terms of possession, shots, XG? And who do you think that the team will dominate? And do you think that the team that dominates will win? The thing with Paris Saint-Germain and Barca is they are very adaptable, even though they play their style very strongly. We've seen Barca. I remember Barca versus Bayern. They gave Bayern a lot of the ball and sat back and play on the counter. But we remember Paris Saint-Germain going to some away grounds like Anfield and and Emirates, taking an early lead and then controlling the game. So I don't know. It's a bit hard in terms of domination and so on. Both teams want to have the ball, but PSG are away. We've seen sometimes when we go away, we want to get an early goal and control the game. Shots, XG. Barca, on average, have more shots in XG than Paris Saint-Germain. But obviously, they haven't faced Paris Saint-Germain. I think it's going to be really similar numbers. Maybe 55, 45 possession to anyone. Shots and XG should be around similar, I believe. So I don't think any team is going to be like that more. Even if we win, let's say PSG win 4-1, I don't think we'll have that many more shots in XG and possession. I think we'll just be more clinical and play a better game. With the ever-growing injury list, there are rumors that suggest you are going to start your midfield versus Barca. Can you confirm or deny this, please? I have to let Fabrizio know. I would love... No, not in a game like this. Look, if we're playing a Liga game against a relegation battling side, I would love to start that game because I do believe that I could be impactful. Maybe not as a midfielder. I would love to play the false nine because it's the least risky position. If I lose the ball, I lose the ball high up. If I score, I score. But unfortunately, no, I will not be playing. Our entire midfield is there to play though. How do you think Lucho will line up the team? Will he put his best starting XI out there like he did versus Marseille, or stick to his traditional 4-3-3 formation with the false nine? I think he will stick with the 4-3-3 false nine. I think the five at the back experiment could have potentially been because we were missing some attackers, but also a game where Lucho felt he could try out. We'll probably see the five at the back more times tried out this season, but I think this game, no. He will go back to basically what we did versus Atalanta in the Champions League. Why Due isn't fit to face FC Barcelona? Because he's injured. He got injured during the international break and isn't fit. I thought Due will be the man of the match for this game, but unfortunately he's injured. So who will be your man of the match? For me, now Vitinha is the best midfielder in the world. Yeah, I mean, I also tweeted, I said, Dembele, Rafinha, Pedri, Vitinha, Yamal, Hakimi, all these players will be in the pitch, but Due will have the man of the match. But unfortunately, Due is injured and is going to miss the game. Vitinha, man of the match. I would love a Kvara man of the match. Just like versus Atalanta, it's a big game. We need you, Kvara. This is why we signed you. You're a big game player. Could be Vitinha. Vitinha has a lot of PR as well. Picked up the most Champions League man of the matches for Paris Saint-Germain last season. Could be Neves. You know, in a game like this. You know what? I'm going to go with Neves. I'm going to go João Neves. I think in a game like this, high intensity, a lot of duels. I mean, João Neves will be absolutely insane. Fabio Ruiz is a great shout as well. One of our fullbacks. I mean, there's so many players to pick. But I'm going to go with João Neves. João Neves to be the man of the match. 2-2 draw. I could say a 2-2 draw. And I would be positive with the draw as well, because then our record stays the same. And the PSG-Barca rivalry will stay alive. Like, we don't know who's better. Nobody's beaten the other until the knockout stages, where I hope we meet. Is Barca's substitution bench stronger or PSG? Good question. If we're strictly looking going into this game, who will PSG be able to bring up from the bench? We already know the starting lineup for PSG, so we could bring on Lucas Hernandez and Lucas Beraldo in defense. No fullbacks. We can bring on Warren Zaire Emre. Mayula is obviously starting. We can bring on Mbaye, Kangili, Gonçalo Ramos. Barca, in the defense, they can bring on Balde. I don't see him starting the game. They can bring on Eric Garcia. No, Eric Garcia will start. So they can bring on Araujo. They can bring on Christensen. They can bring on... I don't know, Casado is a little bit of a doubt. Maybe, I don't know about Casado then. Bernal, they could put him on, but he's not, 100% fit yet. Fermin obviously out. They can bring on Ferran Torres. And Rony Bardghji. I don't know, both benches honestly look a bit mid with all the injuries, and both have such great starting 11s. When you have such a great starting 11, it's a bit hard to have a great bench at the same time. Honestly, it's a battle of mid. With Kvara and Vitinha, you know what? I'm going to give it to Barca maybe. Barca with the edge. Ferran Torres in really great form. Eric Garcia as well. Araujo. With Kvara and Vitinha potentially injured, do you think the odds for the game is 50-50 or is it heavily favored towards Barca? And how do you see the game knowing Barca are playing really great now and that we barely have any attackers? So I think Paris Saint-Germain with no injuries, Barca with no injuries, PSG is the strongest side. And even with these injuries, I think these injuries will cost Barca more than Paris Saint-Germain. For me, the big one is obviously Ousmane Dembele. But Barca, Juan Garcia is a huge one. How important he's been for them this season. Rafinha, Barca's best Champions League player last season. So I think even injury-wise, it's even less for Barca. So I'm going to give it 55-45 to Paris Saint-Germain. Is Beraldo showing any signs of becoming a future starter? I don't know, man. It's like we've been going through the Lucas Beraldo growing pains for like 3 seasons now. I mean, he always shows us his talent. You know, I know about Lucas Beraldo's talent. For me, just implementing it in bigger games against bigger opposition where there's a lot of pressure. But he's showing good moments, man of the match performance in a recent game as well. Who do you think has been hit with injuries worse? Obviously, Paris Saint-Germain, we've had way many more players injured and many players like just miss one game and so on. But strictly going into the game versus Barca PSG with everyone being available and fit, it's Barca. Who will dominate position? Will position be key in the game? Position will always be key in the game, especially between Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain, 2 position dominant sides. Who will dominate it? I don't think anyone will dominate it. I think it will be 55-45 for any of the 2 teams, depending on how the game goes. Give a play from each team that you think might have an unexpected masterclass. Quick question there. Let's start with Barca. Unexpected masterclass. The thing is it unexpected from me or from football casuals that do not understand the sport? You know what, maybe Szczesny. I think there are less expectations on Szczesny doing something big and special. And I think Szczesny can have a good game. So I'm going to go for Wojciech Szczesny from FC Barcelona. And Paris Saint-Germain, I'm going to say João Neves. And it's not that it's not expected. I could say Senimayula, but I don't know how good he will be. João Neves is more, you hear Vitinha, obviously you hear Neves and you hear Fabian, but I think João Neves will be so good this game. Like the PR that will come to João Neves after this game will be absolutely insane. They could even say on a pitch with Vitinha and Pedri, João Neves was the best midfielder. So I'm going to say João Neves and Wojciech Szczesny. If both teams had their full team, no injuries, wins, what's the score prediction? I went with a 3-2. When there were no injuries. So 3-2 or 3-1 PSG if we're really good. Which players are set to be in the squad in the clash PSG and everyone is set to be in the clash for Paris Saint-Germain apart from Ousmane Dembele, Marquinhos and Desiree Doué. What player from each team will have a disaster class? So the opposite of that question. I don't know about disaster class. I'm going to say likelihood of a disaster class. From Barca, I'm looking at their fullbacks. How Paris Saint-Germain play, how we, put 2-3 players on the wings at certain moments. We don't really play that much through the middle in some moments. So I think he will have to be one of the Barcelona fullbacks. Let's go with Koundé. It could be Gerard Martin, it could be Koundé. I'm going to go Koundé. Disaster class from PSG. Honestly, when you look at how the season started, it could be Chevalier. But it also could be Barcola. One of them too. Are we going to finally give Yamal his flowers once he drops in masterclass? I have always given Yamal his flowers. That is something a lot of people have not understood. Just because I have opinions about Lamine Yamal as a person would never make me lie about him as a player. I've always rated Lamine Yamal. I've always, talked about his talent and his ability. The main problem I've had with him is his personality and attitude and how he behaves and how he talks. But I've always given Lamine Yamal his flowers. Just because I don't overrate him like casuals, like people that think an 18-year-old is, I don't know, some prepubescent 7-year-old who can't do anything. They treat them as handicaps. Oh my God, that 18-year-old did something, give him the Ballon d'Or. So I just don't go into the overration, saying Yamal is better than Messi ever was and Neymar and all of this. I never go into that delusion. If Yamal, there's a likelihood Yamal can drop a really great game, I would definitely give him his flowers. I've never hidden away from that. When we talked about the Inter-Barca game, I gave Yamal his flowers. But I never overrated him, saying this is one of the best UCL winger performances I've seen. The dude played 210 minutes across both games, registered 17 shots, 1 goal, 0 assists, with only 3 key passes. But according to people, that's generational. And this is not me talking just about stats and everything. We saw why Yamal did that game. I'm just saying that There's a huge difference between doing a lot of stuff and then doing a lot of stuff that leads to stuff. What do you think about all the injuries? And are you still as confident although Lamine is back? Injuries are part of the game. It's just unfortunate that a lot of them are happening for both teams going into this game. It's like the game is cursed. And are you still as confident although Lamine is back? Yeah, my confidence never wavers, but I wouldn't say my confidence has wavered, but how I see this game has wavered. It's a bit weird predicting what's going to happen in this game. But yeah, still confident. I respect how much you're milking content from this game. I really do, but relax. It's just a group game and both sides will play with their B or C teams. No one really cares, nor it doesn't really mean that the club who will win is better yet. See the knockout stages and good luck. I mean, first of all, I'm a content creator. Second of all, I want to talk about PSG Barca. Third of all, people want to watch PSG versus Barca content. So I never understood this milking content. But relax, it's just a group game. Well, I don't care. When you play Bayern last season and beat them, you guys were talking like your best team in the world and Rafinha is going to win the Ballon d'Or. That was just a group game. Feels like you're a bit scared that you're going to lose. I mean, that the club who will win is better, yeah. So it's like he's gone into PSG gotta beat Barca, and then this is basically his excuse after the game. Sad, so many injuries are affecting the most talked about game in a while. Hope it turns out good though. And that's the thing. Despite the injuries, it's gonna be a great game. Both teams play with great system, the Flick and Lucha system, but both teams have great individual ability. This is not gonna be a boring Prem big team game. Absolutely no. It would have been the best game to the season, but unfortunately, a lot of main players are injured both sides, and that's not good. True, but I still think this could be footballistically, stylistically, the best game of 2025. Do you think Quentin and Janto will be in the squad, and what do you think about him? Quentin Janto better than Ramos? I agree. I'm better than Ramos, and he could be in the squad, yeah, with the injuries that we have. Will he come on? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the last players I'm focusing on going to the game versus Barca. You watch both teams and see everything on the pitch. With these significant absences and the match being played at FC Barcelona Stadium, wishful thinking aside, don't you think it's a foregone conclusion? Yeah, I've watched both teams this season, and I think the level is quite similar. Both of them haven't started off as brilliantly as they ended last season. Both have some significant absences, and the game being played in Barcelona Stadium makes absolutely zero difference. I mean, the last two victories we've had versus Barca were in their stadium at the Camp Nou and Montjuic. The last two games you had in France, you beat us once and drew once. Yes, one of the draws was after we'd beaten you 4-1, but we have a very good record away in Spain versus Barca. And second of all, we saw from Paris Saint-Germain last season, we went away to Anfield and Emirates and pissed on those stadiums. So this entire away notion, home notion, it doesn't exist anymore. It would be the most boring 0-0 game because of injuries? I absolutely don't think so. This tweet would make sense if PSG was missing 7 of their starters and Barca were missing 7 of their starters. They're just missing like 2 to 3 starters each. Who left to step up in PSG's XI given all the recent injuries? For PSG, I'm looking at the midfield and the fullbacks. And Kvara as the diamond up in attack. But I think Kvara is the main one. You know, with Dembele, the second main man is always Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, buying for 70 million. He's like 23 years of age. This will be a big game for him. And he did play previously for Napoli versus FC Barcelona. Did not have the best game across both legs. So I'm looking for Khvicha Kvaratskhelia to absolutely step up in this game. But midfield and fullback as well. Can you give me some betting tips for the game, please? I don't do betting tips. You should not bet. I do not condone betting. But if you're talking about stuff that will happen in the game, I could see both teams score. I guess that's the only prediction I would go for. As a Barca fan, Luis Rodriguez made my hate for PSG a little less, which is understandable. I mean, if we had, you know, a former, I don't know, if Ibra managed Barca or Thiago Silva managed Barca, obviously that would, have a little bit of positive. It's like some Bayern fans are liking Barca more because of their relationship with Hansi Flick. So completely understandable. Thoughts on both teams basically playing with their B teams? You see, I mean, I don't understand these exaggerations. Both teams are missing 2 to 3 starters. It's not B teams. Yes, Rafinha, best UCL Barca player last season. Dembele, best UCL PSG player last season. But it's not B, C teams. Missing him. We'll see. As there's no Dembele for the match, how is the front three going to look like and how good do you think Barcola will perform? The front three should be Khvicha, Kvaratskhelia, Bradley Barcola and Seni Mayulu. Bradley Barcola, I'm just hoping for make runs, be a threat. I'm not even looking at goal. I'm not looking at assists. I'm looking at constant threat, runs in behind. We know the Barca high line. We know how Barcola loves it. Khvicha, Kvaratskhelia, take over the game. Take over the game. Take over the game, take over the game. It's that simple. With your dribbles, with your playmaking, with your shooting, I want you to be the best player on that pitch. And lastly but not least, Seni Mayulu, less expectations, move around, show hunger, defensive effort, just have a better game than Gonçalo Ramos has. It's less expectation for that. Khvicha, a lot of expectations. My most expectation, like to perform this game, is going to be the midfield and the fullbacks for Paris Saint-Germain. Do you feel confident PSG attack even without Dembele and Kvara? I mean, Kvara will be there. Dembele, yeah. I remember when we went and played Arsenal away. Dembele obviously came on like 65th minute, but he was, he was not 100% and so on. And we played good that game. So obviously we had Due as well in that game, which we don't have this game. But I'm confident for a little bit of lackluster attack. But that's also because we have such an insane midfield and insane fullbacks. Would you buy Kvara for 120 or Rodrigo for 110? Kvara for 120. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia is a much better player than Rodrigo from Real Madrid. Do you miss Mbappe? Absolutely no. If there's one player you could get from Barcelona, who would that be? I've always said Pedri. Like, I don't want Yamal because I don't like Yamal the person, and I don't like what Yamal does to a club. Because, we had a little bit similar with Mbappe. The youngster that we build the team around, we give everything for. I don't like that anymore. Like, when we bought Neymar and made him the main man, it's not a problem. Neymar was like this best or second best player in the world at that time. But I don't like when you do that to a youngster. But let's say Yamal joins when he's 25. Hopefully he's matured and so on. It's definitely one of them. How much we're winning? I'm predicting it 2-1. Do you see Hakimi easily boxing Rashford? Hakimi, honestly, he's good defensively, but not like Nunu level. So no, not easily boxing. I think it will be a good battle between the two. Maybe football fans need to be more proactive and show some love and support for football players. So many games and now both teams have too many injuries. This will definitely affect the quality of the game. Yes, but it will still be a great game. Like, it'll still be better than any Arsenal or Liverpool game this season, any City or Premier League game, any Madrid game as well. But yeah, the players that are out deserve love and support, and hopefully they recover quicker and come back. Can PSG handle Barcelona's attack? Yeah, I mean, we have the best. Honestly, I would say we have the best defense in the world. When you look at the personnel, Zabarni just has to be tested, and Chevalier has to be tested and perform better in big games. But I think there's no better defense, better to handle Barca's defense than PSG. I mean, Lamine Yamal, his kryptonite is Nuno Mendes, Rashford, Hakimi. There's no pace battle there. And then Lewandowski, Pacho. If everyone is fit to play, we will watch the most chaos match ever. Also very excited for what Flick is going to do with High Line. It's going to be so tough facing a smart coach and fast attack with a bunch of creators in the middle who can break him with one pass. And that's 100% true. I do go back and look at the Bayern-Barca game, because Bayern also very possession side, going away versus FC Barcelona, a little bit of similarities. But Bayern in that game started with like Müller, Goretzka in midfield, Palhinha, just some bumps. They had Olise, Kane, and Gnabry up top. I mean, Paris Saint-Germain is completely different. You have the pace of Nuno Mendes, Achraf Hakimi, Khvicha, Barcola, and then you have Fabio Ruiz, João Neves, and Vitinha in the midfield. So it's going to be very interesting. I absolutely can't see Flick playing that high line against us. It would be completely suicidal. So he's going to still play a high line, but less of a high line, and the offside trap could cost him, because I think Luis Enrique will look at that offside trap. It's like he will tell Barcola to, let's say Barcola is on the right, he will tell Barcola to make a run, Barca make the offside trap, and then Hakimi comes out of nowhere. Lucho, man. Oh, I'm way too much to the side here. What's your best PSG Barcelona match in history? And if Yamal scores, show me the reaction you would make. Oh, Nuno. 1-0 to FC Barcelona. Lamine Yamal gets the goal. And honestly, it's a great goal. It's a great goal. There you go. What's your best PSG Barcelona match in history? I mean, even though we lost the second leg, probably has to be 4-0. It could be 4-1 as well. The Mbappe hat-trick one. 4-1 recently as well. Let's go recency bias. The recent 4-1 at the Modjukic. 2020 PSG or 2025 PSG? 2025 Paris Saint-Germain. PSG gonna lose. Okay. Rashford. Filthy nuts. Which substitutions will change the game? From Barca, I think Ferran Torres, when you look at the form that he's in, he could be a little bit dangerous coming off the bench. Then the rest is like defenders and so on for Barca. PSG, Gonzalo Ramos, I'm one of his biggest slanderers and critiquers, but he's really great off the bench. Gonzalo Ramos, I mean, that's probably the best substitute player maybe there is in the world when you look at his stats. He has like a goal or assist every 65 minutes when he comes off the bench. Gonzalo Ramos, maybe Mbaye with his pace if he comes on. Kangili could be cheeky. We saw that versus UEFA Super Cup versus Spurs. We saw that versus Sociedad. So yeah, I think we have slightly better attacking options coming off the bench to change the game. What tactic PSG uses? Half our team is out, half our team is not out, and we should use Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, Bradley Barcola, and Sinema Yulo. If Kvara and Vitinha are injured, we are finished. No. I think Kvara is less, but Vitinha would be absolutely a huge miss. Nobody can play the role that Vitinha does, and he's second best player in the team after Ousmane Dembele. But all of them were there. All right. If it was up to you, will you have rescheduled the game until both teams get there? No. Injuries are part of the game. If injuries was not part of the game, maybe. But injuries are part of the game, and yeah, this game will test both teams. How can they play without, Ousmane Dembele and Rafinha, I guess. It's better than Vitinha. No, I think Vitinha is better, but Pedri is second. Barcelona will win the game, Lamine and Rashford scoring. But in the knockout stage, we meet up again, goes to pen, and PSG wins it. All right, interesting. You think Barca have the most midfield depth in the football right now? Honestly, yeah. When you look at, they have De Jong, Pedri, Olmo. Then they have Fermin, Bernal, Gavi, Casado. A lot of, maybe too many players. Because none of them is really like you got Pedri, he's like here. If Olmo plays at his football, he's like here as well. Ding Dong is a little bit lower than both of them. Gavi still hasn't come back. Bernal obviously had the ACL and everything, still trying to come back from it. Casado. Flix Barca have only won against an elite side once. Bayern and UCL. Madrid don't count. They were shit all year. I predict it's going to be an easy win for you guys if Vitinha is fit. Alright, we'll see. Would like to see a combined 11. Well, I've already posted it. Are you scared of Yamal? No, I'm not scared of any football player in the world, including prime Lionel Messi and prime Cristiano Ronaldo when we play them. But definitely Yamal will be a huge threat in this game, and he will be the main player Paris Saint-Germain will have to focus on. Do you believe the pressure is greater on PSG to deliver a Champions League winner or Barcelona to prove they can still compete at the top level? Good question here. I think there's more pressure on FC Barcelona. Paris Saint-Germain just won the UEFA Champions League. When you win the UEFA Champions League, you have to prove less. Obviously, if we get knocked out in the Champions League knockout stages, then obviously that's a huge L for Paris Saint-Germain. But there's definitely more pressure on Barcelona. They are at home. They are the team that said we are the team that could potentially beat Paris Saint-Germain last season, and they didn't do it. So now they will have to prove themselves. Laporta has been talking about PSG. Pedri has been talking about us. Laporta said, it's sad we didn't face. Now we're going to face to see who's the best team in the world. We were the best team in the world. We're the best team in the world. You have to prove yourself. We don't have to. We've already proven ourselves. So obviously there's more pressure on Barcelona to win this game than Paris Saint-Germain. With key players possibly out due to injury, how do you think Luis Enrique will adapt his game plan to take advantage of Barcelona's own injury woes? Rafinha, Rashford's going to be there. I don't think you can do that much about that. If Balde doesn't start, Luch is definitely going to focus on Gerard Martin. He's definitely a weakness in that line. And then with Juan Garcia out, maybe Luis Enrique tests the Paris Saint-Germain player to press Chesney more. He's worse with the ball than Garcia is. And to take more shots. He's not a better shot stopper than Garcia. PSG goalkeeper Wednesday has to be at his best, 100%. Yamal is returning. Balde will have his chance. Apparently, doing Marquinhos Dembele won't make it. Exactly. No, Chevalier maybe ones to watch for this game when you look at his currently what he's done recently. But Kvara is my ones to watch about. Chevalier has to step up. It's a huge game. Let it. What does that mean? Who's going to dominate possession and who's going to win the Nuno Yamal battle? I don't think any of the two teams is going to dominate possession. I think it's going to be like 55-45, so no real domination. And who's going to win the Nuno Yamal battle? I think Yamal's going to attempt 8 dribbles. Nuno's going to win 5 of them. Yamal's going to win 3 of them. So Nuno's going to win the battle. Which team has worse injuries? Barca, in my opinion. I think their injuries are more impactful than us. Plus, we have a better overall team than Barca, even when everyone is fit. Well, 69 comments. We've just went through all of them. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure to follow me on Twitter if you want to be part of these kinds of videos. But really interesting reading Paris Saint-Germain and FC Barcelona thoughts. And I will try to do this for every single big game coming up this season. That's been it from boy PSG. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez Paris.